Frauensolidarität hat sich ja schon seit längerem mit dem Thema Frauenarbeitsrechte, Arbeitsbedingungen von Frauen beschäftigt, und zwar im Rahmen von der Clean Clothes-Kampagne. Die Clean Clothes-Kampagne hat in Österreich und europaweit versucht, Konsumentinnen darauf aufmerksam zu machen, dass die Arbeitsbedingungen in der Textilindustrie sehr schlecht sind in den ausgelagerten Betrieben im Süden. Die Konsumentinnen haben den Protest bei den Unternehmen deponiert, Nike, Adidas, H&M, was es da gibt. Und diese Unternehmen haben dann reagiert auf diese Proteste von kritischen Konsumentinnen, aber auch von Arbeitsrechtsaktivistinnen, indem sie Verhaltenskodizes publiziert haben. Und mit dem waren dann die Konsumentinnen eben wieder beruhigt, und wir von der Clean Clothes Kampagne, beziehungsweise dann wir speziell jetzt auch in der Frauensolidarität, hatten aber den Eindruck, dass da nicht wirklich ernsthafte Bemühungen dahinter stecken, dieser Unternehmen die Arbeitsbedingungen zu verbessern. Und dieser Verdacht erhärtet sich oder ist erhärtet durch die Tatsache, dass die Unternehmen zwar sagen, wir haben diesen Kodex, wir machen das alles, aber überprüfen lassen wir uns nicht. Wir wollten dann eben mit diesem speziellen Projekt, im Rahmen dessen dann die Indienreise organisiert wurde, wir wollten dem eben auf den Grund gehen, und zwar ganz einfach der Frage, helfen die Codes of Conduct tatsächlich den betroffenen Frauen?
When I started, and carpets became very popular here. Many buyers came here, and if they wanted my clothes, I could not give to everybody. I just had a limited production. I started with 1,000 looms. At the moment, I have about not so many because the market is low. It's about those are 200, about 200 looms.
How much would the average wage or income per carpet be for a weaver?
In the GT worked out what's the per weaver per carpet, because it depends on the size. Now you see the size of the carpet and the quality.
It's about 5,000 rupees.
Just the weaving.
Just the weaving.
Just what the weaver earns for the weaving
Of the carpet.
STEP, das ist eine Schweizer Organisation, die ein Teppichsiegel betreut. Wir haben in Delhi die indische Koordinatorin von STEP getroffen, Manju Gupta, die hat uns sehr detailliert erklärt, wie STEP funktioniert, und am nächsten Tag hatten wir die Möglichkeit, eine Teppichmanufaktur in Jaipur zu besichtigen. Das war ein Familienbetrieb, und die haben uns da alles gezeigt. Wir hatten auch den Eindruck, dass sie ihre Arbeiterinnen sehr gut behandeln, aber es ist auch der Eindruck entstanden, dass es nur auf dem Wohlwollen dieser Familie beruht und nicht wirklich auf einer kontrollierten Struktur. Dieser Erzeuger, also Maruda Export, so war der Name von dem Betrieb, die waren im Gespräch mit STEP, waren aber eigentlich völlig unzureichend informiert über die Bedingungen, über die Kriterien, die sie zu erfüllen hätten. Und für Maruda Exports war das eigentlich eher nur so ein Weg, wie sie ihre Teppiche verkaufen können.
If you have heard about a campaign that is called a consumers campaign in Europe, clean clothes campaign?
Clean, you mean the environment and
No, not environment, but clean production, like socially clean.
Oh, social compliance of the factories.
Good working conditions.
Oh yes, the proper light, proper ventilation, proper water, neat and clean, proper toilets. Yes, see the factories that we have, they are all approved by the Western buyers for everything what you're talking about.
And how about working conditions for the worker?
Excellent we have. No child labor, number one. Number two, very good working condition. All government regulations met with regards to minimum wages and every other facilities, whatever is required by the buyers in Europe as well as in America.
I would like to know if we talk a little bit about what we saw yesterday. The factory we visited from outside, it looked pretty okay. What is your impression?
Yeah, this is what I want to say. Again, you know, in the name of social accountability, we have made big buildings without addressing the primary issue. Look at a factory which is signed SA 8000 or which has signed some other code, company code, some other code of conduct. They have spent almost 30% of their income into constructing their infrastructure facilities. Their investment goes from 30% to 50% or even 60%, whereas they have not invested for their workers' social security. So how code of conduct has been misplaced? If you ask any factory owner, he will immediately accept if you say the health and safety should be improved in a code of conduct. Yes, I will improve, because it is an investment. Factory owner thinks it's an investment in terms of building and assets. But if you talk to the same factory owner about the wages, about the social security, about the maternity benefit, he will take 7 steps backward.
ஜெபாவி ஊற்றுமையா ஜெபிக்கணும் ஜெபிக்கணுமே திறப்பின் வாசல்.
In Tirupur bzw. im Coimbatore-Distrikt, da hatten wir auch die Gelegenheit, mit Frauen, mit Textilarbeiterinnen aus verschiedenen Fabriken zu sprechen. Die haben sich wirklich freundlicherweise bereit erklärt, nach ihrem eigentlich sehr langen Arbeitstag noch mit uns gemeinsam in der Schule des kleinen Dorfes zu treffen.
என் பேர் வந்து ஜானகிங்க.
Name is Janagi.
10 வயசுலேருந்து கம்பெனி வேலைக்கு போயிட்டுருக்குறேன்.
She was working right from the age of 10.
அடி கேட்டுட்டு இருந்தாங்க, அப்புறம் மேலே கை மடித்து தைச்சி பழகி இப்போ தைச்சிட்ருக்காங்க.
When she was 10 years old, she used to cut the rough edges and also folding it and packing it. Now slowly she has development and started stitching the shirts and other overlaps.
காலையில் 8:30 கம்பெனிக்கு போனாக்கா மத்தியானம் 12 விட்டு 1:30 சாப்பாட்டைங்க, அப்புறம் நைட்டு 9:30. அப்படி ஓவர் டைம் வேலை செய்யறதா நைட்டு 1 மணி வரைக்கும், இல்லைன்னா வெட் நைட் செய்யலாம்.
She goes to her office by 8:30 in the morning, and 12:30 to 1:15 is lunch time. After that she can work up to 9:30, and if she wants to continue again for the overtime, she can work up to 1 மணி வரைக்கும். Up to 1 o'clock in the midnight she can work. It happens often. Basically, the Christmas season is coming in Europe.
இப்போ 90.
She is now earning 90 rupees per day.
வாரத்தில் அது சொல்ல முடியாது, பீஸ் அர்ஜென்ட் கொடுத்தாலும் ஒவ்வொரு வாரத்துக்கே ஞாயிற்றுக்கிழமை லீவ் விடுவாங்க, இல்லைன்னா வேலை.
Sometimes Sunday she will get holiday, but sometimes she has to work in the Sundays also.
Diese Frauen haben uns dann erzählt, eben von der Situation, unter der sie arbeiten. Ein ganz starker Tenor, der herauszuhören war einfach die überlangen Arbeitszeiten und der ganz klare Appell oder die Frage an uns, warum kaufen die Leute in Europa und in der USA vor Weihnachten so viel, dann müssen wir so viel arbeiten, wir können diesem Druck nicht standhalten. Dann war das Problem, dass sie sagen, wenn eine schwanger ist, dann geht sie sofort nicht mehr zur Arbeitsstelle, weil dann schwangere Frauen werden offensichtlich so schikaniert, dass die Gesundheit von ihnen selber und der Kinder gefährdet ist.
And how long does she work? When does she start work in the morning and when goes she home at the evening?
कितनी देर चलेगा? 8 hours. 9 से 5. 9 to 5.
9 to 5. And her salary?
तुम्हाला इथे
Piece rate?
हाँ?
Piece rate?
Piece rate. It depends on how many pieces she does. But किती होतं ते?
3, 2.5.
Around 3,000.
Around 3,000
per month.
per month.
काम ज़्यादा रहेगा तो ज़्यादा bills.
It depends on how many pieces she does. They are paid on piece rate. How many pieces she does.
But we just heard that they are paid on the basic salary of...
That is for newcomers.
What is the area we are in here? In what part of Mumbai is it? Is it the tradition that women do homework here? Or?
Well, this central part of Bombay was earlier textile area. What has happened is a lot of the textile mills have closed down. So employment has got very much reduced, and I think many of the women folk from the families that used to work in the mills have now turned to these other forms of work, which are much less secure, such as home working or working in small sweatshops. So garment work has arisen maybe over the last 15 years or so. In these areas, and a lot of other sort of insecure work as well, informal work.
My name is Ronnie Hensman. I got involved I used to work with trade unions in Bombay, and I still do as part of the union research group. So mainly with organized workers. I got involved with garment workers and codes of conduct through my connection with Women Working Worldwide, which is a network of groups working with women workers in different countries.
They want some recognition of their status as workers. They have no proof of their being workers, and secondly, proof of employment to say they have been working for such and such a person, or such and such a factory. So they have suggested identity cards or attendance cards, appointment letters, pay slips, anything they can use as legal proof of being employed. They have nothing. So they get nothing from the government by way of benefits, and nothing from the employers. They don't get paid holidays, they don't get any kind of bonus, maternity pay, nothing like that. So that, if that demand can be incorporated in codes of conduct, that all the workers who work for the suppliers should have some definite status as workers and proof of employment, that would help them.
How many generations of you has been working in the garment industry and factory? Your master has been dreamed that you will have education, but what did your life end up? So I think that is the question that we want. The question is that how you use us as a tool to help you. So I think that is I think the first panel of the World Social Forum. We will have many panels, and then I hope that in the next panel we will build up from this panel. Stop talking about the passive and start looking at how we make change.
Our brand companies, our owners want to empower our women. It is because they want to make more money and stop unionization process in our country. So in this regard, the most important, urgent, immediate need is we need to focus our mind to how we are going to organize women, workers as a union. How we are going to make and change them as a force to bargain with the employers, how they are going to work and fight for their rights on women workers themselves. So this is the most important task. The most important task we have right now is to identify grassroots women leaders and train them, build them and help them to form their own union among women workers, and that will be the real challenge we have. The gender issues means more specific, concrete action that we are going to take. That's what we expect.
SEWA is a Self-Employed Women Association, and it started in 1972. Today it is one of the largest primary trade union of women in the informal sector. At present the informal sector is almost 93% in our country, and if you see, more than 60% of the informal sector is women. And these are women who are either home-based workers, they are working from home in little industries, doing packaging, maybe doing some cottage industry, maybe doing some kind of value added to a particular work that somebody else is doing. Then we have the vendors and the hawkers. That means that women who sell seasonal products from a basket, maybe from a cart, maybe from a little kiosk, or maybe from a little kind of a cot just outside their house. So these are the vendors and the hawkers. And then we have the third category of manual laborers. That is women who are construction workers, who are rag pickers, who are agriculture workers, who are looking after cattle in the rural areas and so on. And then the fourth category with which Seva is working are the producers. When I say producers, we mean that women who get some kind of raw material themselves, make a product and then go back into the market and sell it. Today in Seva, our membership is almost 700,000 women, and we are working in 15 districts of Gujarat, and we are working in 6 states of India. We believe that women who are the most vulnerable in the informal sector, they should not just remain producers, but they should become the manager and owners of their own organization. And that we can do only through democratic organizations. It has to be a union, or it has to be a cooperative, or it has to be their own federation or association or their own group, a collective that comes together. A future area which I think Seva has to build upon and is doing a lot of work is on social security. As I mentioned before, there is no healthcare, childcare, shelter, insurance for the informal sector. But based on our experience, we have formed our own cooperatives. We have our own health cooperative, we have our own childcare cooperative, we are planning to have our own insurance cooperative, and we have our own trust which helps in giving shelter.
This is a kind of bank in India. There is no such bank. As per my information, there is no such bank like Seva Bank, specially running for the poor women, because these women they are bankable. There is no such good approach for them. Nobody has recognized them as a bankable people. So it is the only bank who is going to their doorstep, who is taking even 2 rupees, 5 rupees from them, and also giving them loan for purpose like housing or paying old debt, and we are also giving them loan against their jewelry. So there is no such bank who is giving such type of facility to them.
The advantage of Seva has always been that we were never associated with any political party. We are political, but not party politics.
Ein großes Problem im Zusammenhang mit der Textilindustrie ist auch die Frage des Wassers. In den umliegenden ländlichen Gegenden dieser Textilzentren geht die Landwirtschaft immer mehr zugrunde, weil die Textilindustrie selber sehr viel Wasser für die Produktion benötigt. Die Arbeitsbedingungen in der Textilindustrie an sich ist sehr schwierig und noch schwieriger und wirklich so quasi am untersten Ende der sozialen Kette stehen Arbeiter von Färbereien, weil die Arbeit in einer Färberei funktioniert so, dass die Färbereien bekommen Aufträge von den Textilfabriken und die müssen dann praktisch zu jeder Tages- und Nachtzeit sofort die Stoffe färben, liefern. Das heißt, die bekommen einen Auftrag und das kann mitten in der Nacht losgehen und da heißt es, wir brauchen so und so viel Ballen rote Stoffe. Das heißt, die Arbeiterinnen müssen jederzeit abrufbar sein. Diese Art von Arbeit wird von Dalits verrichtet, größtenteils, und die bekommen am absolut wenigsten Lohn, sind gesundheitlich den größten Risiken ausgesetzt durch die Giftstoffe bei den Bleichereien und Färbereien und haben null Absicherung.
These problems of the river cannot be solved overnight. Pala river is dead because of leather coats and jackets and suits and gloves and what we call you wear some kind of. And you have to realize that most of the workers are coming from Dalit communities in our country because they are meant for doing all these dangerous, dirty, demeaning jobs. So these are the women issues because it is all intersecting issues. We should have the principal focus on two major things: labor standards first, second environment. But among that, these issues comes up: Dalit people's rights, Dalit women's rights, women workers' rights, and everything is there. And also now we are linking more about women and water. All the livelihood questions of women comes under that. Because ultimately women are going to fight for the water in the streets. Ultimately women are fighting for the water in everywhere because they have to face the difficulties. I'm not putting the entire responsibility to the woman, but in our country it is like that. There is no gender balance in our country where men can do the household work, where men can go and fight for the water. So what we are going to do? Very practical, simple question. These are the questions are not raised by me. These are the questions of ordinary workers. Every time we go, we do research, we take down their working condition, we shoot film, we take pictures, we record their documentation. The final question they will ask, what you are going to do? The same question that women workers asked the other day in Avinashi, in a village school. We met with women workers, the same question they asked. So we cannot do this for years and years. We need some alternative positive models. We need something to inspire women workers to form themselves. Rather than speaking about all these, it's like it is like selling women rights violations. Rather than really meaning it. We all know what kind of our sisters, women sisters are facing every day. What kind of, it is very, it's very worst form of violation they face. And if we more and more expose all those things, we are outraging their dignity.
Yeah.
And this everybody knows. But the real thing is we want to do something, some action in a small place, some positive action, some models we have to create. We have to create women to lead women workers. That is the necessity.
Thank you. I think we'll close. We should have closed by 12 o'clock, but we should close it now. Thank you very much.
Could we support that cooperatives grow? Which influence could we have on that?
There's not much you can do from outside, but I think where there are cooperatives, or if you make it known that you will support, meaning you will buy from cooperatives or put pressure on retailers to buy from cooperatives, then I think over here we can have a stronger movement to start cooperatives. Because the big problem for cooperatives is the market. So that's where you can help.
Eine Erkenntnis aus der Indienreise ist sicher, dass Codes in einem Land wie Indien kaum eine Relevanz haben. In Indien ist 95% der Arbeit informelle Arbeit, das heißt ohne Arbeitsvertrag. Und da haben Codes einfach wenig Relevanz. Ein Code of Conduct mag ein Instrument sein für den formalen Sektor, aber für informelle Arbeit ist da sind zuerst ganz andere Schritte notwendig. Codes of Conduct sind für NGOs insofern hilfreich, dass sie nützlich sind, das Thema von Arbeitsrechten aufzubringen, mit Arbeiterinnen zu thematisieren. Es ist eine Basis, eine Gesprächsbasis zwischen Arbeiterinnen und Unternehmen. Also insofern können sie als Instrument für Bewusstseinsbildung herangezogen werden. Grundsätzlich glaube ich, dass aber der wichtigere Schritt schon ist, die Gewerkschaftsarbeit zu stärken, beziehungsweise die Selbstorganisation der Arbeiterinnen zu stärken. Weil es ist einer von den wichtigen Sätzen in unserer Arbeit. Es kann niemand die Rechte von einer Arbeiterin besser vertreten und um sie kämpfen wie die Arbeiterin selber.
I think what our members are always saying is the second freedom, what we call the second freedom, and what our leaders have been saying is that India got its political freedom more than 50 years back, but what we want as the unorganized sector women workers is to have the second freedom, and the second freedom is the economic freedom, to have decent work with everybody. You cannot grow or develop without work. You need at least the basic, the minimum work, and I think that's on what we have to work to see that we keep on getting work, we keep on getting employment in whatever sphere we are, and that will help us to grow and to develop. We all know that the markets are opening up, and we see it in Seva as picking up the opportunity of the opening up of the global market. If people can come in your country, why can't we go outside? And we can only do that if we are organized. And we have tried to do that through Seva's own initiative of its own Trade Facilitation Center. The Trade Facilitation Center in Seva helps the Seva members to directly reach the global markets.
உலகில் இன்பம் உடையவராம் இடமும் பொருளும் நோயாளிக்கு இனிய வாழ்வு தந்திடுமோ சுத்தம் உள்ள இடமெங்கும் சுகமும் உண்டு நீ அதனை நித்தம் நித்தம் பேணுவையேல் நீண்ட ஆயுள் பெறுவாயே காலை மாலை உழவினுதும் காற்று வாங்கி வருவோரின் காளை தொட்டு கும்பிட்டு காலனோடி போவானு தூய காற்றும் நன்னீரும் சுண்ட பசித்த பின்னுணவும் நோயை ஓட்டி விடுமப்பா 100 வயது தருமப்பா 100 வயது தருமப்பா.